let's talk about the floor that I've just put in. Now, this is normal laminate flooring that you'd have in any household. It's 12 mil, and I got it from Bunnings. It's about $30 a metre. There's nothing special about it. It's just normal household laminate flooring. This doesn't add anything to the soundproofing in the studio, and compared to the concrete floor that's underneath, it doesn't really sound any different either. It's just another hard reflective surface. But if you put it in the wrong way, I think it could actually be harmful to the acoustics of the room. The reason for that is because of the skirting board that connects the wall and the floor together. Now, you might remember that the concrete floor underneath was disconnected from these walls, and the reason for that is that if you have a drummer in here or someone with a bass amp or a guitar amp, you've got vibrations that are going directly into the concrete and impact noise, and I didn't want that to cause the walls to resonate as well. I mean, the sound will cause the walls to resonate a little bit through airborne noise, but it's the impact noise that I was trying to stop from going into the walls. Because inside the room, if you've got a drummer smashing away on the floor, if the walls start to vibrate from those impacts, then it creates a different sound within the room. And I was trying to avoid that. So by putting the flooring down, this laminate flooring, I've got to make sure that it's also disconnected from the walls. Otherwise, I wasted my time doing that with the concrete. So here's how I did it. Okay, let's pretend this is the wall. Now you might remember that my wall is sitting on these red pads, which keeps it isolated from the floor. Like that. Then I took some regular flooring underlay and I ran that up right up to the edge of the wall, and then I put the laminate down with a gap of about 10 millimeters, something like that. Now at the moment, the new flooring and the wall are still not touching, so that's perfect, they're disconnected. But normally what you do next is you get the skirting board and you put it like that, and suddenly the floor and the wall are connected. So you have to have a skirting board because the flooring needs to be pressed down around the edges so that there's no movement. And you know, it also looks a bit funny to have a gap around the edges of the room. I suppose I could put the skirting board a few millimeters up like that, but then, you know, the movement in the floor might become a problem. So here's what I've worked out. I bought some of this weather stripping material from Clark Rubber. It's about 4.5 mils thick, and it's got an adhesive back on it. And I ran that along the bottom of my skirting board. So now when my skirting board goes down, I can still squeeze it down onto the floorboards. But that foam, I'm hoping, will prevent vibrations and impact noise going from the floor to the wall. So they're still disconnected. If there's a different way to do this, I couldn't think of it. And I guess the only thing I'm not entirely sure of is what are the acoustic properties of this weather stripping. Now, like any foam, I think it'll do a reasonable job of preventing sound and vibration from transferring through. But I guess I don't really know. So fingers crossed, and I think it'll be fine. The other thing you might be wondering about is the underlay that I used. Normally when you lay down laminate flooring, you can buy really thin sort of white coloured foam stuff, which is very cheap and doesn't really have any acoustic qualities. It's just kind of soft and, you know, allows the floor to sit flat. This stuff here is a bit more expensive. It's called Quiet Step Combile. And I got it from a flooring place for about $200 for the whole roll, and that did the whole room with about that much left over. And what this is usually used for is in apartment buildings, where this would go in underneath a laminate floor like this to stop footfalls, the sound from footsteps coming through to the apartment below. Now they say that it has acoustic qualities and that it can reduce footfall noises by about 30%, but in a studio environment it really doesn't do anything. It's just the best kind of underlay that I could get my hands on.